Hi guys, how are you? Today I am going to show you how to implement signals in Django. I am creating a blog post app in Django where I implement Django signals. So let's start and follow each step. If any doubt in your mind, then comment it, subscribe and like. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This effort is just for you to understand signals in Django. Let's start. These are some imports which are required for our Django Signals project. Let's understand each step line by line. On this line, from Django.db import models. Basically, this models module from Django, it provides us tools for defining database model. This module basically provide us tools for defining database models. On the next line, from Django.config, basically this config is configuration. This is a short way of configuration. Django.conf import settings. This module, settings module from Django, which allows access to project settings. This module, settings, allows access to project settings. This module allows us to access project settings. That's why I am importing this module. And the next line, from Django.utils import time zone. Basically, the time zone module from Django provides tools for working with time and dates. And the next line, from Django.utils.text import slugify. Basically, the slugify function from Django, which is used to create URL friendly version of strings. This slugify function used to create URL friendly versions. And the next line, from Django.dispatch import receiver. This receiver decorator from Django, which is used to connect signal handlers to signals. This receiver decorator help us to connect signal handlers to signals. I will understand you what is signal handlers. Let's focus on the concept. I will cover this for you. On the next line, from Django.db.models.signals import pre_save, post_save, pre_delete, post_delete, m_change. Basically, these several signals, these are basically signals from Django. These signals are events that can be intercepted to perform action before or after creation database operation. These whole signals are events that can be intercepted to perform actions. Signals are the events to perform actions before or after certain database operations. On the next line, user, and I am assigning settings from settings module .auth_user.model. Basically, I am defining a variable user, this user, and set it to settings.auth_user_model, and it is a dynamic reference to the user model in Django. Basically, what I am doing, this is a dynamic reference to the user model in Django. allowing flexibility for projects using custom user models. On the next line, I am defining a class with name blog post, and this blog post is inherited from models.model class. So I am basically inheriting blog post from this model class from models module. And on the next line, I am creating a field, the title field. This field represents the blog post title, and it is a character field. This one is a character field with a maximum length of 120. So basically a title field will be a character field with length 120. And the next line, slug, and this field is used to create a URL friendly version to the title. This slug field is used to create a URL friendly version of the title, and slug field, which means it is typically used in URLs and allows only letters, numbers, hyphens and underscores. So slug basically used in URLs and it allows only letters, numbers, hyphens and underscores. So why I am using slug here? I am want in URLs letters, numbers, hyphens and underscore. That's why I am using here slug field and creating a variable slug. And the next line, this slug field, not variable, the field slug. And the next one, and also I am passing a parameter blank is equal to true, indicating that it can be left blank, and also null is equal to true, maybe it will be null. We are accepting here blank or null for a slug field. And the next one, liked, and this is many-to-many field. This field establish a many-to-many relationship with user model. This field, liked field, many-to-many relationship with user model, and it represents a set of users who have liked the blog post. This field is basically represents a set of users who have liked the blog post. That's why I am using here blank is equal to true. If no one is like the blog post, that's okay, no worries. On the next line, I am creating another field, notify underscore users, with boolean flag. This flag, why I am creating this flag here? Because I want users should be notified about the blog post. Default is equal to false, and I want this boolean flag whether user should be notified about the blog post or not, and the default field is false. And the next line, I am creating a field notify underscore users underscore timestamp. This field stores the timestamp when notification were last sent to user. This field basically stores the notification time stamp when the last sent to user. Basically this whole field. I am creating what? I am creating a field with name notify underscore users underscore timestamp, and from models class I am using a function boolean field method boolean field sorry date time field from models, and I am allowing parameter with blank true if this field is true blank okay, and null then it will be okay, and auto underscore now underscore add is equal to false. This parameter indicates that the timestamp might be automatically set when the object is first created. Basically, this parameter indicating that the timestamp will not be automatically set when the object is first created, and this datetime field is nullable. And the next line active from models I am using boolean field method, and I am passing a parameter to this method default is equal to true. This field is basically a boolean flag indicating whether the blog post is currently active or not, and the by default field I am here set that true. Basically, this whole model represent a blog post with a title and URL friendly slug, a set of user who liked it, a notification flag, and a timestamp for notification and active status. The relationship and fields provide flexibility. This field relationship many-to-many relationship field provide flexibility for handling various features associated with a blog post. So this is for class blog post. Let's understand this decorator or signal handler. Before this, I want all of you, I realize that someone from us in this session are basically confused about slug. So I want to let's explain slug more. So basically a slug is a URL friendly version of a string. It's typically used in web development to create clean and readable URLs. Basically, a slug is formed by converting a string, often a title or a name, into a format that can be easily included in a URL. So basically, slug is formed by converting a string, often title or a name, into a format that can be easily included in a URL. So basically this conversion usually involves removing spaces, special character, and converting letters to lowercase. For example, in this blog post title, this title introduction, for example, I understand you with some example. For example, introduction to JavaScript. So the corresponding slug might be something like introduction -to JavaScript. So slugs are available. So basically slugs are valuable for SEO, search engine optimization, as they contribute to a more user-friendly and descriptive URL structure. So basically slugs are often automatically generated based on specified field, like in this example the title of a blog post, and are used to create URLs that are both human readable and search engine friendly. So slug is important for both human readable and for SEO, and this the purpose of slug is to found by converting a string of a title or a name into a format that can be easily included in a URL. So, and the conversion usually involves removing spaces, special characters, and converting letters to lower case. So this is about slugs. Let's continue from this signal handler. Basically, I am creating a decorator in of Python, and I want to connect a function blog underscore post underscore pre underscore save this function to a specific signal. The signal is I want this function connect with a specific signal pre underscore save for a particular sender. In this case, the particular sender is blog post. What I am doing in these two lines, I want that this function blog underscore post underscore pre underscore save, this function connect with a signal. The signal name is pre underscore save for a particular sender blog post model. In simple terms, I say when a pre underscore save signal is sent by a blog post model instance, execute the blog underscore post underscore pre underscore save function. Let's one more time understand. I understand you this. Basically, when a pre underscore save signal is sent by a blog post, this blog post sender, this blog post model instance execute the blog post function. What happened here? See, when this signal is sent by this sender, and this sender instance execute this function, and if not instance is slug, that time instance.slug is instance.title. On the base of title, slug is created. If not, instance.slug is provided. If not slug is provided by the user, that time slug is created using the title of a blog. So basically this condition, if not instant.slug, this checks if the slug attribute of the blog post instance is not already set. That time the slug is typically a URL friendly version of the title, and it is often generated automatically, and this will generate automatically on the base of title. So this is for this signal handler function. And the next one, before this signal handler, I want you to understand what is instance. We are again and again use instance. So basically an instance is a specific occurrence or realization of an object It represents a unique individual entity created from a class. So an instance is basically a unique individual entity created from a class. For example, let's consider a class car, and this class car describes general attributes and methods of a car. That is okay for that point. And an instance of this class, car class, could be a specific car like a red Honda, a car to the with a particular license plate in this case. So basically class is car, object a car with a like a red Honda, and the instance the red Honda, specific occurrence of the object. So let's continue our next signal handler. So basically this one, once again I am creating a decorator, and this decorator is responsible to connect a function blog underscore post underscore post underscore save to a specific signal post underscore save for a particular sender. The sender is blog post model. So when a post underscore save signal is sent by a blog post model instance, and that time execute the blog post underscore save function. Basically when a signal, the signal is post underscore save, is sent by this sender blog post, and this blog post is a model instance, at that time execute the blog underscore post underscore save function. So the parameter sender instance created and additional argument. The sender of the signal, in this case which one, blog post, the sender is blog post model, and the instance of the model that has been saved and created. Basically it is indicating a boolean, and a boolean whether the instance was created during this save operation or not, if true or false. Boolean have two values, true or false. So basically created is a boolean indicating the instance was created during this save operation or not. And next to star args and ** keyword args are additional arguments that can be passed to the function. And here you have a question in mind, why we are passing a parameters like these additional arguments, but in my case, in this particular case, I am not using this additional argument. So on the next line, if I am checking instance.notify underscore user is true or false, if the instance.notify underscore user, this condition checks if the notify underscore user attribute of the blog post instance is true. This will check what? This will check the notify underscore user. This is basically attribute of the blog post instance. Check if this is true. then print notify users, and this print message indicating the user will be notified, and the instance dot notify underscore user is equal to false. This sets notify underscore user attribute of the blog post instance to false, indicating that user have been notified, and this will set after notifying to false. And the next one, instance dot notify underscore user underscore timestamp, this attribute of the blog post instance to the current timestamp. Basically, this will set the timestamp attribute using this time zone dot now function. Basically, this will set the time. Basically, this notify underscore user underscore timestamp sets attribute of the blog post instance to the current time using Django this function time zone dot now, and at the end instance.save saves the modified blog post instance back to the database after updating the attribute. So the whole code is a signal handler that listens for the post underscore save signal from the blog post. If a blog post instance is saved and the notify underscore user attribute is true, it print a message, this one, and then update some attributes and then save the instance again. This is a common pattern which I am using here for performing additional actions after an object is saved, in this case notifying users. So this is the signal handler.